Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff 2 million years ago. The wind cuts across the plains, carrying the scent of wild grass and distant fire. A lone woman crouches by a flickering flame, shaping the first stone tools, her eyes scanning the horizon for danger. What she does next will echo through millennia, altering the course of human evolution forever. Who was she? And how could one woman, unknown to history, ignite a chain of innovations that shaped the very essence of what it means to be human? The sun had barely crested the jagged horizon when she stepped out of the shelter she had helped construct, her eyes adjusting to the pale glow over the rolling plains. Around her, the world was raw and untamed. Mammoths grazed in distant valleys, saber-toothed cats prowled the shadows, and the wind carried the scent of earth and fire. Every day was a negotiation with survival. She was one of the first women whose life mattered not only to her own survival but to the survival of her group. Fossil evidence from sites like Olduvai Gorge and South Africa's Sterkfontein caves reveals that women of early hominin communities were integral to foraging, nurturing, and teaching. Unlike what many myths suggest, early women were far from passive. They were keen observers, planners, and innovators. Her hands, calloused from gathering tubers, splitting wood, and shaping stone, were instruments of ingenuity. It was here, in this crucible of necessity, that human intelligence began to emerge. Studies of Acheulean tools, often attributed to Homo erectus, show remarkable precision and planning. These tools were not merely instruments, they were extensions of her mind, evidence that even in the harshest landscapes, foresight and skill could tip the balance between life and death. The social structure around her was fluid but purposeful. Anthropologists argue that early women fostered cooperation, creating networks that ensured food sharing, childcare, and knowledge transmission. These networks became the hidden scaffolding of survival, the unseen threads binding her small community together. And yet, despite the perils, there was curiosity, an insatiable drive to understand the world, to shape it, to leave a mark. That curiosity, encoded in the rhythms of daily life, would become the first spark of cultural evolution. The river's edge glistened in the morning light, and she knelt to inspect a cluster of stones. Not all were suitable, some too brittle, some too soft, but she had learned to read the hidden language of rock. With a precise strike, a flake broke free, revealing a sharp edge that could slice through meat or scrape hides. This was not chance, it was deliberate, a testament to foresight and planning that would define human evolution. Archaeologists call these Acheulean hand axes and flakes, yet each one tells a story beyond its shape. They are echoes of minds capable of abstraction, pattern recognition, and complex motor control. By observing where patterns on these ancient tools, scientists have deduced that women likely played a significant role in refining techniques, shaping tools not just for utility but for efficiency. Every strike, every edge honed, demonstrates a blend of intuition and reasoning. But her innovation did not stop at stone. Fire, the great catalyst of human development, became her ally. Evidence from Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa indicates controlled use of fire dating back nearly 1 million years. Imagine her, tending the flames, learning its moods, using it to cook food, ward off predators, and gather her community around warmth and safety. Fire was both tool and teacher, illuminating the world and her mind alike. Even in the midst of survival, she experimented, observed, and adapted. She discovered which roots were edible, which plants could heal, and which strategies improved hunting or gathering. Her ingenuity shaped daily life and laid the foundation for cumulative culture, the slow but unstoppable accumulation of knowledge passed from one generation to the next. It was here, in the interplay of environment and intellect, that the earliest signs of human problem-solving took root. She was not merely surviving, she was inventing the future. As dusk settled over the plains, the fire flickered, casting dancing shadows across the faces of her community. It was more than warmth, it was a gathering point, a stage for learning, storytelling, and connection. Here, she taught younger members how to recognize edible plants, how to craft tools, and how to move silently through the tall grass to avoid predators. Every word, every gesture, carried knowledge vital for survival. Anthropologists argue that early women were central to building the social fabric of hominin groups. Fossil evidence from burials and tool caches suggests that women were not only providers but educators, mediators, and innovators of social norms. By sharing knowledge, coordinating tasks, and caring for the vulnerable, they fostered cooperation, trust, and cohesion, qualities that would become hallmarks of human societies. Her mind was constantly calculating possibilities. Which route to take for foraging? Which predator threatened next? When to teach, when to guide, when to intervene? These choices were subtle, often unseen by the fossil record, but they shaped survival and reproduction. Her social intelligence was a force multiplier. A single innovative woman could influence the behavior, safety, and even the genetic success of her entire group. And within these interactions, the seeds of culture began to sprout. She may have begun marking objects, creating patterns in clay or stone, signaling identity, intent, or knowledge. Symbolic thought, the foundation of art, language, and ritual, was nascent, emerging from the rhythms of daily life and social interaction. Through her hands, eyes, and voice, she encoded lessons that would ripple across generations, laying the invisible scaffolding of human civilization. In this quiet, unassuming way, the prehistoric woman transformed her world. Her intelligence, foresight, and social insight were not just survival strategies. They were the earliest chapters in the story of humanity itself. Beneath layers of soil, ash, and time, traces of her existence waited to be unearthed. A hand-shaped mark on a stone, the remnants of a hearth, a discarded tool, these silent witnesses hint at her presence. Archaeologists in Africa, Europe, and Asia have pieced together fragments of a life that predates written history, revealing a woman whose influence on her community rippled far beyond her immediate survival. Fossil evidence paints a compelling portrait. Partial skeletons, like the well-studied Homo erectus woman from Dmanisi, Georgia, suggest physical adaptations optimized for endurance and dexterity. These traits were crucial not only for foraging and crafting tools, but also for leadership within small, mobile groups. Meanwhile, the wear patterns on stone tools reveal meticulous planning and repeated use, implying that her innovations were not isolated accidents but deliberate strategies passed through generations. The artifacts themselves tell a story of intellect and foresight. At sites like Olduvai in Kenya, hand axes and finely shaped tools are often found in clusters, suggesting collaborative creation or knowledge sharing. Some researchers argue that women may have orchestrated these early workshops, teaching others and refining techniques, a testament to their role as cultural architects. Beyond tools, signs of fire control, food processing, and even early symbolic markings offer glimpses into her daily life. These discoveries hint at a mind capable of abstract thought, foresight, and innovation. She was not merely a survivor, she was a problem solver, a teacher, and an influencer. Her actions, though invisible to us in detail, reshaped the rules of existence, nudging human evolution toward cooperation, intelligence, and cumulative culture. Every shard of bone and stone whispers a question. Who was this woman, and how did her ingenuity change the course of humanity forever? In the quiet moments before dawn, she shaped another stone, each strike deliberate, precise. These were not mere tools. They were extensions of her mind, crafted to solve the pressing challenges of life on the Pleistocene plains. From cutting meat to scraping hides, her innovations multiplied the efficiency and safety of her community. Archaeologists have noted that repeated patterns in toolmaking suggest women played a key role in refining techniques, elevating mere survival into strategic mastery. Fire was her greatest ally. Evidence from sites like Swartkrans in South Africa indicates that controlled use of fire became widespread around 1 million years ago. She harnessed it to cook food, making nutrients more digestible, reducing disease from parasites, and extending her group's active hours beyond daylight. Fire also forged social bonds. Her ability to maintain and manage it positioned her as a central figure in her community, a source of warmth, light, and knowledge. Beyond tools and fire, she orchestrated early forms of social organization. Group foraging, coordinated hunting, and child-rearing networks were subtle innovations that amplified survival. Fossil and ethnographic studies suggest that women's management of food, knowledge, and social cohesion created a feedback loop. Safer, better-fed communities meant healthier offspring and stronger cultural continuity. Her ingenuity even extended to early symbolic thought. Some archaeological sites hint at intentional markings, patterns on stones or ochre, that may have communicated knowledge, status, or identity. Though primitive, these marks represent the spark of culture, an understanding that ideas could be transmitted beyond immediate action, leaving a legacy that would outlive her. Through these innovations, tools, fire, organization, and symbolic communication, she reshaped the daily life of her group. Each action was both practical and revolutionary, a testament to how a single individual could steer the course of human evolution. Long after her footsteps faded from the plains, the echoes of her life endured. Every tool she shaped, every fire she tended, and every lesson she passed along became part of a growing repository of knowledge. Through her influence, survival transformed from instinct-driven endurance into a cooperative, strategic enterprise, a foundation for what would become uniquely human. Genetic evidence hints at the subtle ways her actions may have shaped evolutionary pathways. Communities that thrived through innovation and social cohesion likely had higher reproductive success. Over generations, traits like foresight, dexterity, and social intelligence were reinforced. In this sense, her ingenuity was encoded not only in stone and fire, but in the very genes of her descendants. Fossil records from Africa, Europe, and Asia suggest that women's contributions to food procurement, tool refinement, and community organization played a pivotal role in Homo sapiens' emergence. Her cultural legacy was equally profound. Early symbolic markings, organized tool caches, and coordinated social behaviors became templates for the gradual accumulation of knowledge. Each generation added, refined, and transmitted what she had pioneered. These cumulative advancements accelerated human evolution, turning small innovations into leaps of cultural and technological complexity. By shaping both the physical and social environment, she changed the trajectory of her species. What might have been random survival became intentional progress. She was the invisible architect of human ingenuity, a reminder that evolution is not just about genes or brute force, it is also about intelligence, creativity, and the power of one individual to influence countless others. Her story challenges us to reconsider history's unsung heroes. In the shadows of prehistory, one prehistoric woman ignited sparks that would light the path for humanity itself. The plains are silent now, the fire long extinguished, and the stone tools buried beneath millennia of earth. Yet her presence lingers, not in monuments or written records, but in every spark of human ingenuity, every act of cooperation, and every thoughtful invention that has shaped our species. She reminds us that evolution is not merely the triumph of survival, but the triumph of curiosity, intelligence, and the courage to change the world. From the first flicker of fire to the precision of a carefully crafted hand axe, her life exemplifies how one individual's foresight and creativity can ripple across generations. She nurtured knowledge, honed skills, and fostered communities, her influence invisible yet indelible. In her story, we see the very essence of humanity, the drive to understand, to innovate, and to connect. As we study fossils, analyze artifacts, and trace the faint markings of her existence, we are not just uncovering history. We are witnessing the birth of culture, intelligence, and civilization itself. Every step she took forward became a stepping stone for us, guiding human evolution toward language, art, and society. So next time you light a fire, shape a tool, or share knowledge, remember her. She is not just a figure of the past. She is a testament to the enduring power of human ingenuity. If this journey into prehistory sparked your curiosity, imagine what else awaits just beneath the surface of history. Subscribe, explore, and join us as we uncover the forgotten stories that shaped humanity. Because understanding where we came from is the first step toward understanding who we are.